A heartwarming story of friendship between a woman and her beloved dog. In a small house on the outskirts of town, there lived a dog named Mitt. Mitt wasn't just an ordinary dog. He was the cherished companion of Miss Anne, his owner. Their life together was peaceful, full of love, and they were as close as two best friends could be. Miss Anne worked at an office and often had to leave home for the entire day. But luckily, every time she came back, she was greeted by Mitt's shining eyes and endlessly wagging tail. Mitt was an intelligent and playful dog. From a young age, he was quick to observe and learn. Mitt noticed that whenever Miss Anne went to work, she always tidied up and arranged her home, making it a daily routine. These actions became familiar in the eyes of the little dog. Gradually, Mitt developed a sense of helping Miss Anne with household chores, not because he was taught to, but purely out of the love he had for his owner. One day, Miss Anne had to go on a business trip for a few days, leaving Mitt home alone. Though the neighbors came by to take care of him and bring food, Mitt still felt lonely. The whole house was quiet, and it seemed to lack the warmth of his beloved owner. Mitt lay by the window, silently watching outside, waiting for the familiar sight of Miss Anne to return. On the second day Anne was away, Mitt noticed the house was starting to look a bit messy. There were small pieces of paper scattered on the floor, some dust gathering on the table, and a few chairs slightly out of place. Mitt remembered Miss Anne's habit of keeping the house tidy and clean. In that moment, Mitt decided he would do something to make her happy when she returned. Mitt started cleaning up in his own way. He used his little paws to gather the scraps of paper on the floor into a pile. Then he took the broom he often saw Miss saw Anne use. Although it was difficult and not as graceful as a human would do, Mitt tried to use his mouth and paws to sweep, dragging the broom across the floor. His clumsy but determined gestures filled the house with a warm, endearing atmosphere. After sweeping, Mitt tried to organize some of his toys, bringing them to a corner of the room as usual. He knew Miss Anne would be pleased when the house was tidy. Mitt even found a small cloth and used his nose and paws to push it back and forth on the table, wiping away the faint traces of dust. A few days later, when Miss Anne returned home from her long business trip, she was surprised to find her house still looking neat and clean as it had been when she left. This brought a mixture of astonishment and deep emotion to her. Looking into Mitt's shining eyes, Miss Anne could feel the love and loyalty her little dog had for her. She hugged Mitt, stroked his soft fur, and whispered words of gratitude, feeling lucky to have such a special friend by her side. From that day on, the bond between Miss Anne and Mitt grew even closer. Mitt was not just a dog, he was a friend, a companion, and a source of encouragement every time Miss Anne felt weary. This little dog with his big heart showed Miss Anne that love is not always about grand gestures, but also about small, sincere acts of kindness.